You know, the shows that actually have storylines and stuff. So not Survivor. That's not an actual storyline. Stuff
But it's
happens.
drama.
It's
It's
real
awesome
drama.
drama.
It's real. That's what I'm not
Yeah.
talking about because it's real. I want the fake stuff.
Okay.
But before we talk about any of the TV shows this week, I just want to bring up that Revolution got picked up for a full 22 episode season. That happened a while ago, but I actually just heard about it this week. So there you go. That crap fest will keep going.
That's just to finish off this current season.
Yes.
That's not for a second season.
Yes. Yeah, but I'm sure if it does okay still that they'll keep it.
Yeah. Well, it all depends on how it ends, I think.
Mhm.
But 'cause
And then
I don't know. Like I don't know. Like it seems to be on a much shorter story arc. Like it almost seems like it should be only another 2 or 3 episodes. So how they're gonna stretch it out is it's probably gonna end up fucking everything up. And,
well, we'll talk about last week's episode shortly. I have
Yeah.
some pretty strong opinions about it. It kind of sucked, but anyways, I'll talk about it later. There's a lot of shows that are like on the ropes of getting canceled this season, and some already did. 666 Park Avenue, which was that show with Locke from Lost,
John Locke.
John Locke. Yep,
It really wasn't all that good.
I never watched it.
I watched like 30 seconds of one episode and I just turned the channel.
It never seemed interesting to me, so I never watched it.
Yeah.
Partners, which was pretty. I want to say gay because it was pretty gay, but that's not why it was bad. It was just, I don't know. It was uncomfortable to watch it. I watched it one time and I was just like, this is just weird.
I never actually, like, I know what the show is, but I never did watch it.
Like 2 gay guys want a kid, so they get a surrogate mother, and then the grandma gets all the fence. It was just, and that's not even the weird part about it. Just
Is
the
that
humor.
what it was?
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure. No, wait.
I thought
am
it
I
was
thinking?
2 business
No, I'm
partners.
thinking about the
That one
new.
was-
Sorry, I'm thinking about the new norm.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, no, Partners.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the new
Okay,
one,
then
I remember
Partners
that.
is kind of like that show with the kids, but it's about some just people in relationships, I guess.
Yeah, I don't really know. To be
Wait,
honest.
2 lifelong friends who are both architects form a business
Yeah,
partnership.
That
Okay.
sounds about right.
Okay, I remember seeing 2 guys and 2 girls in all the commercials.
Well, I think one of them's gay and one of them's straight. Just architects.
All right. Then okay, I've seen like maybe 10 seconds of it. I was totally thinking of another show then.
Yeah.
Oh well. Who could have blamed me? Partners. Could have been either one. And Last Resort got canceled, which kind of got me bummed out.
That was that one with the sub?
Yes.
Yeah.
If I would have to pick which one would get canceled between Revolution and Last Resort, I would rather have more Last Resort.
Your cat scratching the shit out of your wall.
No, it's that. Well, can you see that?
Like, the cat was just jumping up and tearing down the wall.
Okay. I don't know. There's newspaper on the ground and she's having fun with it. I don't know. Cats are weird.
Yeah.
And Jess is saying Last Resort is awful. I am calling you out that you don't actually watch it. So, no, dude, whatever. I'm just saying it's better than Revolution. And it was probably one of my most favorite new shows, which I don't really watch that many new shows, except Revolution and Last Resort. And if you want to count TMNT in there, then sure. TMNT's a new show. But, no, whatever. Hey, the thing that sucks about Last Resort just being canceled is that nothing's going to get explained. It's just going to end, and it's going to be like, yep, fuck, I didn't learn anything
Now,
about
was it
what was going on.
canceled or just not renewed for...
So, not renewed. So, they're going to finish the 13 episodes.
Okay.
But
so
I
that's
think...
not canceled.
So, I think that they were expecting...
Not picked up.
I think they were expecting to go for 22 or 24 episodes, but they're not, so...
Yeah.
Because
if it's canceled, they just, like, stop showing it completely and show something else at that time slot. Well, if they finish off the story arc, then it's just not being picked up.
they're not gonna. I don't think they have. So yeah, it is a cancellation, and I don't think they have time to react to this cancellation. I'm pretty sure everything's done already. Because we're already on episode 9, and there's like 4 episodes left. So, and that's happening in like next month. So they have no time to fix that shit. It's just gonna be like flash forward. Oops, we're canceled. Fuck. That ending made no sense now. It made sense for a second season. It just didn't make sense to fucking end it on a cliffhanger like that. By the way, that's another show that I liked, Jest. That was probably terrible, but that show was pretty awesome. It was just slow going. Probably like Revolution. I just want shit to happen in Revolution. Nothing happened yet. It's all bullshit.
Right. That's the thing, is I don't think anything actually will. They're trying to build up to something, and I just don't think it's going to work out. Especially if they go to a 22 episode season. I think that's just going to fuck it right up.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, hey, let's talk about that right now then. Let's talk about some Revolution. I got a lot of notes about it. So, right off the bat, I'm just going to say that this episode was pretty much all filler. It started with a storyline about them wanting to cross a river to get into Philly. So they attempted to cross a bridge that was controlled by the militia, and they fell right into a trap. Of course, like, come on, it's a fucking militia controlled bridge. They're not going to get across. And then the scariest militia guy ever, Strausser, he shows up and he does absolutely nothing to be scary. Absolutely nothing.
Well, no, you've seen him in previous episodes cutting people up, so he's.
But they've all done that so far. Head. But they've all done that.
No, not really.
The main guy's done that.
No, he was actually like straight out torturing someone while like skinning them alive.
Oh, I guess that was like the nail stuff when they were in the camp early on in the season. He was like tearing his nails. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's not that bad. I don't think that's that scary. Just saying.
No, he's just fucking psychotic.
Yeah, but this episode he didn't do anything.
Yeah, correct.
Yes. So they escaped. They somehow miraculously got away from the bridge and managed to hide. But turns out that they had Nora's sister. Oh no! And they saved her. Which right then and there I was like, okay, she's planted. There's no fucking way that they saved her this easily without them putting up a fight. They just, we got her now. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And that's what happened at the end. Oh no, she's actually working for the bad guys. So what happened is her sister said, "Hey, I found our dad. We should go get her. Let's go get him. Yay!" And then Nora was like, "No, I have this commitment to these guys, and they're my friends." And then finally, Charlie's like, "You should do it. It's your dad. Just do it. I'm going for my brother. You can go for your dad."
Yeah.
So she does, and Nora's sister, whatever her name is, stole the pendant from Aaron. And that's one of the biggest things that happened in this episode.
I know. Well, it was the very end while they show the complex that the black woman was in.
Yes,
I can't remember what her name was.
I do have that. I do have that written down. I don't think that was that huge, but I'll talk about it for a really quick second at the end. But
well, it's like, a prelude.
So the gist of the episode was that, holy shit, we got to cross this river. They never crossed the river. They jumped in a river. We don't know which one it is. It could be any river. It could just be any river anywhere. But maybe they'll explain that next episode. But the two main points from this episode that you got to keep for the next episode is that the pendant got taken, and then Neville's wife wants Neville to be the new leader of the militia. So that could be interesting if they do anything with that. Maybe the wife will kill Monroe.
I see that ending badly for everyone. And then Charlie is somehow put into power by
Charlie.
the uncle.
Yeah, right.
Dude, it's that stupid. I can guarantee you something that stupid is going to happen.
Then they'll have the pendants.
You can't even deny it
power.
either. You know something horrible is going to happen.
Probably. So Jess earlier in the chat room was talking about like Last Resort has strong acting and Revolution has strong writing. They should just combine forces and have...
I don't think the Revolution has very strong writing. I think they have a good idea, but they're certainly not well-written scripts.
Well, that's what Jess said, and I'm just going to put it out there that I like Last Resort just overall. No, well, okay, you said better writing than Last Resort, which I disagree. I disagree with that. Last Resort is actually pretty good.
I would agree with that. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly not great.
Yeah, and I have no problem with Last Resort. I'm actually kind of surprised what they did with that premise so far. I was just expecting it to be like 3 episodes and then take that US, and it's not really that. It's pretty good, and all the actors in that are pretty awesome. And the thing that I like about that episode, nobody's stupid. There's no stupid female characters. It's not like, oh, well, this girl is stupid, so this shit's going to happen. No, everybody's pretty strong in that show. But back to Revolution, or the very ending. Hey, Jest. No, I'm not kidding. Who did something stupid? No, the plot might be stupid, but the character... Look. It's not like Revolution where Charlie is like, oh, no, people are gonna die, and then something stupid happens. Or with Walking Dead, with the wife Lori, oh no, my husband might be dead, so I'm gonna have sex with his best friend. It's like shit like that. Shit like that doesn't happen. And they're not creating their own country, Jest. They're not creating their own country. They're trying to fuck over the states and get the truth out. That's what they're trying to do. Okay? They just don't want anybody to come in their bubble to fuck shit up, because they're gonna nuke them. I don't know what you're saying, Jest. I just don't know. Anyways, so what you said about Revolution is that Grace and Randall, which is the Secretary of Defense dude, and the black lady who had the pendant, they know that Monroe now has it, because they were tracking it in this big complex thing with like...
Which then, I guess, is somehow shielded from this machine that the mother made.
Mm-hmm. Because they have electricity in there.
Yes.
So, yeah.
No, I don't entirely understand where they think they're going with it. Which is kind of strange. Like, typically you kind of get some idea of, by now, 10 episodes or so in, of, like, it's been all about Monroe, but obviously there are people that have power, but why then did they shut the power off and wait 20 years to do something about it?
I don't know, man. That shows just this episode proved to me that they're just writing on their asses and they don't really know. Cause
I don't really.
Like even this episode was all over the place. Like the main focus was trying to get to Philly and across the river, and they never ever got to that. It's like, oh well, okay, yeah, Nora. We're trying to make Nora into a character, and she's not. She's just some girl that likes, what's his name? Miles. Yeah, Miles. Yep. Oh no, totally lost Steiner. Yo, what's up, Jest?
Hey, I just wanted to sort of clarify some bits of the plot with Revolution.
Yeah.
They've never said that these devices have an ongoing effect per se, but more so than that, the facility that has the power is where Grace is, the scientist that obviously has had one of the pendants. It showed her earlier when she was being apprehended, she was on a personal computer being powered by the pendant.
Yes.
So that facility most likely is being powered by her pendant. It's not necessarily shielded.
Necessarily. Well, I'm assuming the pendant puts out some sort of frequency that then ignores this device that was created. It's not actually putting out power.
Well, if you think back to the episode, when Grace was apprehended, she literally unplugs her pendant from the computer. She sent out a message to someone who also had electricity and a computer of some sort. And then she unplugs the pendant and tries to shut everything off, before they come up and find her. She plugged it into the
computer, but then the light turned on and...
Yes, so that would mean that the pendant does have some sort of ability to give a power, and it's not just random. The randomness of the pendant that was in the hands of the group more than likely has to do with the fact that they don't know how to accurately use the device, whereas in the hands of someone who does, they can easily power something up. But they wouldn't, Charlie's father would have never had a reason to use it because any kind of power whatsoever is going to bring negative attention their way.
I don't entirely agree with that. You're also trying to make some sort of logic out of something that someone created out of their mind, or in this case, their asshole.
So
Steiner, you did the same thing with Lost.
Yeah, you're using logic to sit here and say that, oh well, the device.
No, I'm just going based upon what they're like the whole why did the diesel, what the hell would it be? The whole lighthouse thing being kicked
Yes.
on, the generator. The diesel
Yes.
generator somehow magically kicked on when this thing was on. So it didn't.
Yes, but however, within the lore, within the information that they've given us, Grace had the device plugged in and was able to locally power a specific device. So I'm not just pulling something out of the air here. It's right there in the material that these things can power something.
Yeah, and
So it's
I don't necessarily think it's powering stuff. I just think that it's like blocking whatever's stopping the power.
Right.
I
That's
don't know
my
when it's
logic.
well when it's just plugged into something, unless there's some sort of complete change in the way electronics work, which it doesn't seem to be, since it does seem to acknowledge that it's some sort of like electromagnetic field manipulation type of a deal. I can't really say that it is just blocking. I mean, it's plugged in for a specific reason. But either way, the point being that it doesn't necessarily mean that there's some sort of shielding going on in that facility. Also, the thing to acknowledge is that the guy who seems to be in charge, from what we can tell of that facility, is the same person who was the government official who was in charge of funding the project. So he may have already had some other form of the device the entire time. What I see unfolding here is basically at least three major faction system here, where it's government guys faction, which obviously has an upper hand on the situation, Monroe's faction, and then of course the rebels, who are just sort of blindly trying to reestablish the United States as they knew it previously.
Yes, but, well, I somewhat agree, but the government establishment that this Secretary of Defense guy is with makes no sense why you'd give up power.
We
Like,
don't
they
know that
had
he's
power.
we don't know that he's government at all. That's the thing. Just because he had the role of Secretary of Defense in the previously established world does not mean that he's working for them, or even that he was working for them legitimately during the time. The whole thing could have been done as some sort of power move by him to try to take control of the country, and in that case, it would make sense to let the entire, well, we're assuming world, because we don't see planes and things from other countries flying over everyone's head. And there's been no mention of that, by the characters, and it has been 20 years. So it would make sense for him
Well,
to
that's
sort
what
of...
the whole idea of the actual field, anything that would come into that field of whatever sorts would then lose power and crash or something along those lines.
Well, and we already know that it's the entire world because we see that globe going dark.
Well, that's not really storyline. It's sort of just like in the
yeah.
in the imaging. But yeah, there could be a possibility of it being a field. However, I do think that there would have been some sort of character acknowledgement, because there would have been a foreign crash from a foreign plane, and people would have been alive to see it. You couldn't just wipe out entire towns just to hide the fact that a plane crashed. They don't have the power, as you saw. The country is split up in so many different factions. There's no way that the word would have spread.
I like how Texas is just Texas.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting, by the way.
It's
Like,
already
they got
big.
guns, they're not going to fucking go fuck with them.
Apparently not, yeah. But yeah, I mean, there isn't any sort of clear-cut direction, but I think that's because the show is created to be in a large epic. And when you look at a lot of the shows, especially J.J. Abrams shows, with the exception of maybe Alias, which Alias had sort of a confined plot for the first season that was really all within itself, and then they had to scramble and create, differences for the following seasons. Every other one of his other shows has always been slated for multiple seasons. And sometimes when things haven't been going right, he has to sit here and retcon, and it ends up screwing up the lore with a bunch of stuff. Lost ended up having the multiple timeline crap. Fringe has had not just timeline, but dimension shifts and stuff like that, which makes it really hard to pick up for new viewers. But I do think that the whole idea is that the entire first season may be slated to get the group to Monroe, but I wouldn't at all be surprised if it's going to be just traveling for the entire season. We're going to learn a lot about the backstory, and they may not even make it to Monroe by the end of the season to rescue the brother.
And then that means, well, not necessarily means, but that's a 22 episode season, and it's just traveling and backstory.
Well,
That's going to make it really weak.
It's not just traveling and backstory. As you can see, the characters are developing. Charlie's becoming slightly less annoying. Google Guy is actually developing some sort of a backbone in key situations. And we see that the uncle has already developed a heart, and his little battle-hardened rebel girlfriend is also choosing alliances. So the characters are developing, at least the main group. The bad guys haven't developed at all. And we see a duality of the choices between that the mother has had to make, and that it's gone back way far.
I think Neville kind of changed. He's the only one though.
I don't know
That's not
that he
entirely-
is.
Yeah,
I don't know that he's actually changing.
because you're still learning who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at first he was just like this big ass tough dude that would kick ass no matter if it's a kid or not. And now it's like, he's like that because he was put through the ringer.
Yeah, but that's just understanding his backstory. That's not really changing his character.
No, not yet, but maybe it'll lead to something.
I don't know. We might see a change in him, but I don't think it's going to be a character change necessarily. I think it's going to be that. See, he's a very devoted character. He really believes in Monroe and believes that what he's doing is what's right. What may change his position is only going to be because they've made his wife this stereotypical manipulative female character, which really annoyed the shit out of me, by the way. Where she's over here, pulling the strings and just so easily implanting these bugs in his head, and he really should be a stronger character than that as a result of what's happened and what he's gone through.
Like, this is nothing against women, but women in television, this probably guys writing it, they suck.
Yeah, it happens way too often where they give women that role.
And Jess, that's not something that Last Resort does good. Great women characters in that show. Just
give
saying.
it time.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Because there's a mole in there right now, and it's a lady.
But yeah, I don't know. I have high hopes for Revolution. It's not the greatest show on television. It's got a couple of good actors. Most of the actors, though, are pretty average at best. The actress who plays Charlie is cute and terrible at everything. That's about as far as she extends. The rest of the supporting cast is pretty good. They've had really great guest stars. I was actually really surprised to see some of the guest stars that they were able to get. But I guess when you attach J.J. Abrams' name to something, it really doesn't become that difficult. But I have high hopes for it. The plot line it's a solid premise, and so far they haven't disappointed me with the direction that the plot line is going. But I guess we'll see how it goes. I mean, it certainly grabbed an audience, and with the order of the back nine for the series, unless it really just craps out entirely, it should be a lock for a second season at least.
We shall
I just
see.
think they actually need to do something impressive to keep my attention, because at this point in time, I'm barely hanging in.
Hey, we're going to move on. Thanks for calling, Jess.
Yep, thanks.
You can always call back in if you get interested in other stuff. Oh, no, there's Skype ads. Get out of here, Skype ads.
A Skype ad for Skype.
Oh, man. Oh, now it's on my screen. Try to get your camera back on if you can. And we'll move on to... That's something we got to figure out. We got to stop using Skype for video. I'll eventually figure something out. But TMNT, I watched it this Saturday. I'll just quickly give a rundown of what happened. So April O'Neil, she received a warning from her imprisoned father, which arrived from a mutant pigeon that the Krang developed. and that character was kind of funny because he was like, "Oh God, he's a guy that got turned into a pigeon," and he's like, "No, I'm actually a pigeon, just got turned into a guy." So Mikey was saying that we should just get breadcrumbs to get this pigeon mutant to come, and everybody in the group was like, no, we should use April because he already attacked April. And then when he said breadcrumbs around that pigeon man, he was like, breadcrumbs where? And he was going all crazy. That was pretty funny. The stuff they've been doing with Michelangelo has been really, really funny this season. I think he's definitely the funny guy in the group, which he always has been. But I like the dynamic of the turtles in this show. Like in the classic one, everybody was pretty much a goofball. Like even Raph, like sure he was a little bit more harder edged than everybody else, but they were all goofballs in that first show. And then you had the first movie, and yeah, Mike was probably the funniest one there too. But they were way more hardcore.
The first movie was very dark.
Yes,
it wasn't so kid friendly. It was very mature for what they were showing anyways, like
and then it just
mutant turtles being mature, but
then it just went into kiddie mode every movie after that.
And
then the 2002 cartoon also was a little bit darker, and it just I find it interesting. I really like this show so far. But anyway, so the pigeon was delivering that message to April that her father was in trouble, and the note said, oh, well, then they found her father, and then he said, you should not come in town, like leave town, because they're going to explode a mutant gin bomb in the city. The Krang will. So the turtles, they stopped it. But while stopping it, Shredder was there. So this is the first time that the turtles faced Shredder. And of course, they get their asses kicked. That's what happens the first time they meet the Shredder.
Of course.
So Chris Bradford and Zever was also there, and they were fighting them beforehand, alongside some foot. And I don't think there was any purple dragons there, but Chris Bradford and Zever were pretty much cornered by the turtles, and they're like, give up, and they were like, never. So Chris Bradford took his sword and sliced the bomb, or the mutagen part of it anyways, and all of it came out and hit Chris Bradford and Zever, and now they're mutants. So next episode, I guess we're going to find out who they are exactly, but apparently their names are Dog Pound and Fish Face. So I'm assuming one of them was touching a dog and the other one was touching a fish when they got transformed.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. And the show...
Have you seen anything of Splinter? Like, of actual martial arts skill?
I don't think we really saw him teach them anything, but I like Splinter a lot in this show, and this episode was pretty funny at the beginning. Don was saying that he figured out a way to make the smoke bombs, like the ninja smoke bombs, where they like throw them on the ground and then boom, they're gone. And they did that. So Mike was like all having fun with them. And at one point they were like, we should tell Master Splinter. And then he throws a smoke bomb. And then you get another smoke cloud after. And he's like, Mikey told me you wanted to see me. It was pretty funny. I don't know. I did not do a good job of explaining it. But Mikey just disappeared in a smoke cloud. And then Splinter came in the smoke cloud. And he was like, you wanted me? It was pretty funny. I don't know. You should watch it. It's an awesome show. Like, if you've watched TMNT before and you still think you'd like it, it's pretty good. I really like the animation style too. The 3D of it all looks good.
Yeah, I would watch it, but there's no way in hell I'm waking up that early on Saturday morning.
You can download it on the internets. I have a PVR, so I just record it. Yeah, and
I would watch it, but they stopped showing it on
the
TV.
internet. Yeah, I know, that's weird. They probably didn't have the rights to it. And they were like, you can't do that. What are you doing? But they still have that first episode there for some reason. Okay, person of interest. This week's episode, man, was crazy and all over the place. So explaining it's going to be hard, but I'll try to do my best. Like, it was fast paced. There was like 3 or 4 storylines going on at the same time. It was just ridiculous. So it started off with Fitch saying that they had a repeat person of interest, and right when he said that, who comes crashing through a window, getting his ass kicked. But Leon, the accountant, that guy from Lost, the Asian guy that we met in the first episode of this season. So they save him from getting killed because, he likes to steal money and all that stuff from bad guys. So they bring him to their base, and he gets to find out, like, oh, this is your boss and this is your base. It's all cool. So they leave him there, but they say, hey, don't touch the computer and stuff because the dog is going to eat your face off. So I thought that was pretty funny. The dog's really funny. I think it's a good part that they added this season. They also introduced a new villain on top of Elias, Root, Kara, and Snow. His name was Alistair Wesley. Wesley was hired to threaten Dr. Madeleine, which was the person of interest this episode. She was instructed to let her patient die, who she was assigned to perform surgery on this guy called Oliver Welt. He was the owner of a powerful electricity company. So Fitch, he donated a huge amount to the hospital to get close to her, while Reese protected Madeleine's girlfriend, which was caught in the crossfire. Her name was Amy. So basically they said, kill this guy or we'll kill your girlfriend. That was the gist of what was going on. So she was conflicted. She didn't know what to do. She didn't want to kill this guy, but she didn't want her girlfriend to die either. So these two guys were trying to save them the entire time. I think Fusco was a standout on this episode. He caused a scene with a fellow police officer in the park where Amy was in trouble, being pointed at by snipers and a lot of other people. So he causes distraction with another cop, saying like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Like pushing him around, like, "I want to see your badge and shit." It was kind of funny, but it turns out that the cop that he was pushing around and stuff was an inside man as well, so he was on the bad guy's side. So by the time he realized that, he had time to save Reese, which was he was rescuing Amy at the same time. So right when he's about to save her, the cop comes in and he's like, "I don't think you're gonna save her." And then of course Fusco comes up behind and then just knocks him out. Pretty predictable, but still pretty awesome. And all while this was going on, at the very beginning of the episode, Fusco was set on a crime, and the dead body had a card with Carter's name on it and an address that only said 6,611th. That's it. That's all it said. But she found out it was an address, and she went to that address, and it led to Snow, which was like, "You can't stop her. I've got this bomb." And then of course, Kara's also there, and she shot out the lights, and they ran away. So, a lot of stuff happened this episode, and it was pretty awesome. They had like an inside doctor as well, so that doctor did perform the incision to kill that guy, but Madeleine saved him as well. So it was just crazy, man. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. And it was pretty good. So, did you watch it?
No.
All right. Well, I just ruined it for you.
Yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm. It was awesome. This is probably maybe not the best episode of this season, but definitely the most shit going on, and another freaking villain. That's just crazy. There's already so many and they could just come back at any freaking moment. Like Elias, sure, he's in prison, but at any moment he could just call onto his troops to do whatever the fuck he wants, because he still has connections everywhere, that guy. And Root, she's not done. She's gonna come back eventually. All right. You don't watch Walking Dead, do you?
No.
Okay, so I'll just breeze through this because there's 2 episodes to talk about because I was behind. So I don't know if anybody watches Walking Dead. You can call in because these last 2 weeks of the show were pretty crazy, pretty intense. I've been loving the 3rd season so far. It's way better than the 2nd season. I would probably go as far as to say it's better than the 1st season too. So Michonne, the new character, the girl with the sword, she overheard the governor speaking as she broke into his house, and I don't really remember what he said, but she did overhear him say stuff about zombies, and she did discover that he had some captive in the backyard. So he for some reason he just had some zombies locked up, and I think we kind of got the answer to that later. But she killed those zombies. She set them free and killed them with her sword. And Andrea, in these last 2 episodes, she's absolutely stupid. Like, just when you think that the female characters are going to be all powerful in The Walking Dead and stuff, nope. Andrea, somebody that everybody thought last season she was going to be all powerful and stuff. No, like she was crazy last season too. But man, so much stuff that she did wrong these last 2 weeks. So Michonne decided to leave the governor. Andrea decided to stay back because, I don't want to go back to that lifestyle we had 8 months ago because there's zombies everywhere. I want to stay here and have a life. So she stayed there because she's stupid. And then also in the yesterday's episode, she hooked up with the governor. So now she has an affair and stuff, and yay, let's have sex and stuff. She's so dumb. She's gonna, I hate her. And she was also subjected to like a zombie death fight where Merle was just, Merle and his group, I don't know what they're called, but yeah, those guys, they basically put zombies around them like it was a ring, and they fought in the middle of these zombies. And Andrea was like, oh no, I can't stand to watch this. And then in the last episode, she's like, I love it. It was awesome. She's so dumb. I hate her. So after Lori's death, Rick went crazy. And at the end of the last week's episode, there's a telephone that rings in the prison, and he answers it. He says hello, and it's like, what the fuck is that phone? Why is it calling? What's going on? So we don't know yet until last night. But before that happens, a lot of people died. So not only Lori died, but T-Dog died, and supposedly Carol, even though there's a lot of clues that she wasn't dead, and we found that out yesterday she wasn't dead. So they dug graves for all of them. I don't know who they put in Carol's grave because she wasn't dead. What's his name? Daryl found her. They were killing zombies in the prison and clearing house and all that stuff. So while they were doing that, he found a knife in a zombie, and he was like, hey, that's Carol's knife. And then the door that was fidgeting a little bit, he opened it, and Carol was behind it, all dead. I wonder how long she was out, because she was like dying, like she was on the ground, like barely could move and stuff. Like, I just like, fuck, has it been like 2 weeks since they lost her? I like, it seems like it just happened like 2-3 days ago. And sure, that would probably take a lot out of you for not eating and stuff like that, but she should still be fine to walk and stuff. So Carol's fine. The craziest thing that happened in the last 2 weeks though is that Merle hunted down Michonne when she left, which is not a surprise. They were saying that they don't keep prisoners in their compound or whatever, their town, whatever they want to call it. But they do like keep the gates clear of zombies, and they don't let anybody cross either. But so she got hunted down by Merle and his group. She managed to kill 2 of the 4. Merle managed to shoot her, but she got away. Merle said that she's going towards the red zone, so she's dead anyways. And this other guy that he was with was like, no, we should go get her. No, let's go get her. And he said, I'm going to tell the governor. And he's like, what? No, we're going to tell him that she's dead. And he's like, no. And Merle killed him. So they're all dead except Merle. Merle's the only one that came back. But I guess on the way back, he found Len and Maggie. They were out on a run to find some baby formula for the kid and all that stuff. So stupid Len and Maggie, they have 2 guns pointed at one dude, and of course somehow he manages to capture both of them with one guy with one hand. It's ridiculous. They could have just shot him right there and dead. Who cares? He shot one shot. Just shoot him. You have 2 guns. But Michonne, she experienced all this firsthand. She was hiding behind a vehicle, and she saw everything, and she overheard everything. So they were talking about the prison and all that, so she overheard it, and she managed to find the prison and even brought all the supplies that Len and Maggie found. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next week, because Len and Maggie are probably going to get tortured for information about where that camp is, because Merle knows that his brother is still alive and that Len and Maggie were with him. So We will see. But that's what I'm expecting. They're gonna torture the shit out of probably Maggie because she's probably the more likely to give up that information, and she might even die, which is kind of sad. But what will you do? What will you do? So I'm excited to see what Michonne's gonna do with Rick and their group, and what Merle and their group is gonna do to Glenn and Maggie. But good 2 episodes of The Walking Dead. I liked it. That's about it. That's about all I have to talk about this week.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really watch too much television this week,
Well-
mainly because it wasn't there to watch.
Mm.
But yeah, the only thing other that I watched was How I Met Your Mother.
Well, so I watched tonight's episode. I can talk about that one.
I haven't seen tonight's episode.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Well, last week's was pretty funny though.
Strip clubs, seals of approval. That's the only two things I'm gonna say. Also, there was one moment that was really, really funny, and I kind of want to spoil it because it was pretty funny, but I won't. Although the ending was kind of sad. I was like, no, Barney, no. Why? But you know that it's going to become happiness. You could probably guess what I'm talking
Barney.
about.
Well, I already know what happens because it was at the end of last season that they showed what was going to happen.
Well, yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's being sparked up again, and she's not into it. Yeah. So I'm
Yet.
like, aw,
Yet.
get your girl, guy. No, I'm gonna spoil that funny part. I'm sorry.
Go for it.
I'm gonna spoil that funny part, but why am I forgetting the main guy's name?
Ted.
Ted. Thank you.
Ted
So-
Mosby.
So Ted, so the whole seal of approval thing is that Marshall, he puts his seal of approval on everything, even though it might suck or not. He doesn't matter. Like, he does it on everything. So, and then with Ted, he piggybacks seals of approval. So he only puts it when he hears of it being awesome. So he went through like his video diaries that he did during college and went through hours and hours of it. And he found one thing of a seal of approval that was good. And that was when Ted was talking with Marshall, and he was like, I don't know if I should be with Lily and blah, 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 blah. And he was like, yeah, you should be with her. She's pretty awesome. And then she was like, oh, that's pretty sweet. That's a pretty awesome seal of approval. And right after she said that, she's like, he's like, yeah, but you know, you could take a month break and bang other chicks. She doesn't care. She'll stick around. And he's like trying to stop it. It's pretty funny. That's probably one of the biggest laughs this season I got on the show. I don't know. It was just really, really funny. Good episode. Watch it. I didn't really spoil all that much.
Yeah.
There's other
Lily's
funny moments. Yep. Plenty of other moments with that seal of approval stuff. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And sorry that I was spoiling it, Rudy.
Doesn't know what you were spoiling.
I-
though.
I was only spoiling like a funny moment. I didn't really spoil any major plot points of How I Met Your Mother.
The only plot point there is in the whole show is the mother. That's the only thing that's actually... And she better be fucking hot or this whole thing's going to be stupid as all hell.
Does she need to be hot?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
She needs to be pretty fucking hot.
Stacy Keebler. There you go. Done.
Oh, God.
End of season. End of show. No, she was already
Yeah.
on it. She was already on it. It's done. It's over with that.
Was she?
Wasn't she?
I don't remember Stacy Keebler, but...
I for some reason I remember seeing her on How I Met Your Mother. Like maybe one episode or two. Wasn't she with Barney?
Barney is okay. Maybe Barney was supposed to marry some blonde girl that I'm not sure if it was Stacy Keebler. Or not.
I'm pretty sure. I am 95% sure. I could be wrong. But for some reason I'm connecting the dots with her and How I Met Your Mother. So who knows? But yeah, no, I guess I watched Animation Domination, and it remains to be awesome. The Simpsons, man, The Simpsons is really going back to, like, I wouldn't say their roots, but they're definitely doing more references to when The Simpsons was actually pretty awesome. So, like, right off the bat, when it says The Simpsons, you saw Homer flying in a tutu in the sky. where he was like the super fat guy, really, really long time ago. That was pretty funny. And man, there was something else in that episode that was referencing old stuff, and I really wish I remembered. But yeah, like they've been doing that a lot. So if you're like old Simpsons and you're still watching it, odds are you're gonna get some of those jokes, and you're just gonna be like, yeah, I remember that back 10 years ago. It's pretty good. Family Guy. Oh yeah, Family Guy. They were hunting the guy that Joe. The reason why Joe is a handicap now. The story kind of got all fucked up, and the story he originally said during like the Christmas stuff,
Right.
where he saved the day and all
The
that. That's
orphanage or
not
what,
true.
yeah.
That's not true. Yeah,
Okay.
he was just saying that story to look like a hero. So he just got shot in the legs by a bad guy. Basically, that's basically what happened, and the reason why he's also like he's all fucked up and stuff is because of him, and because he's still like thinking about him. So he came back up, and he's like, I'm not gonna. At the very end, the funniest part I thought was when he's like, he captures him and he's like, I'm not gonna arrest you, and he shoots him in the knees, and he's like, oh, by the way, you're under arrest. I was just like, okay, pretty good, and he died. So whatever, he wasn't under arrest, he was dead.
What?
No, the episode was pretty funny. Another funny part is when so he brought Quagmire and Peter to try to capture him as well. And before Quagmire left, he asked Lois to take care of his cat, and he was like telling Lois like specific details, like this cat's kind of skittish, so when you touch it, you got to do it like this, and she's very specific. It was pretty funny. Quagmire is an interesting character because some episodes he's just like weird, and then some episodes he's like super sexual. He has a lot of variety to his character. But yeah, an American Dad. American Dad's still probably my favorite show on American Domination. Animation nomination. Mm-hmm. And it has a lot to do with Stan and what's the alien's name? Roger. And this episode was just freaking ridiculous. Roger became his stepdad this episode, and he was reluctant at first, and he thought that Roger was just doing it to get his attic back. Because what happened is Stan's mom, her husband died, and she lost all the money. So Stan said, "Come live with us," and so she moved in the attic, and he told Roger to go in the basement, and Roger was all pissed. So Stan was thinking that it was all just a plot to get back into his attic, but it turns out that it was a flip-flop situation. His mom just wanted money, and she took out a life insurance claim on his life, Roger, and she was actually trying to kill him, which is kind of funny.
Nice.
But it's like all this stuff where Stan was reluctant to be like his son, and then they built a car in the garage. What was it? A Charger? I think it was a Dodge Charger, and like they rebuilt it and stuff. It was pretty funny. They even had what's that song? Anyways, it was definitely a reference on something, because it seemed familiar to me, but I can't name what it was.
The Wonder Years song?
Probably, yes. Probably. That does sound familiar. Then he gives him the keys at the end. It's like, it's not my car, son. It's yours. He's like, really? It was pretty funny, man. Yeah. That's the best part. And even like the Steve parts are usually pretty funny too. That's the son. So, yeah. I mean, good stuff. If you like cartoons, you should probably watch all those things on Fox, because they're pretty good. I guess Futurama's still going on, and I've been meaning
Is
to.
it?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's on Comedy Central.
Okay.
And I watched the last new season, and the new season might be done, because it has been going on for quite a while. And I watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes, and it's still pretty funny if you like that kind of stuff. I personally like Futurama more than The Simpsons when it came back, but now I don't know. I actually do like The Simpsons a lot now. It's kind of funny. Like last week, they didn't trust banks anymore, so what Homer did was put Lisa's college fund in a poker website instead of the bank, which was pretty funny. And then Lisa started playing with the money, and she got up to like $500,000, and then she lost it all. But she lost it to Bart, because Bart actually cares. And he was like, I don't want you to gamble, but he didn't say it because, he doesn't want Lisa to know that he cares. So, yeah, I don't know. That's all I had to talk about.
Yeah.
So let's wrap up.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week. I'm thinking about changing the day and
Yeah.
time.
That sounds good to me.
I've been thinking about Saturday for a while, and I think that would be the best time to do it because I do have some time on Fridays to plan stuff out, and right now I'm literally planning this show an hour before it happens.
Now, what time were you thinking?
I have no idea. Like it could be Saturday late, like maybe before or after the UFC show, or maybe before the pay-per-views. But I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't know how that would work though.
I honestly have no idea. No idea yet. I think noon-ish, maybe 1 p.m. would be good. Because it would give me time to watch TMNT, and then we could talk about the entire week of television.
Yeah.
Instead of having shows that are airing right now as we speak.
Now, which would be kind of difficult to watch then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I
Makes
think that's
a little
the
bit of
plan.
sense.
Yeah.
Just a little.
So there won't really be that much of an after show, but stay tuned if you're watching live. We'll be talking about some stuff a little bit. Maybe talk with people on Skype. But besides that, I mean, just go check out Mega Scorcher. No, the porn you can do on your own time, people. You don't need to do that here.
That's 24/7 in my life.
Yeah, right. I don't doubt that. So stay tuned if you're live. If not, megascorcher.com. It's all there. Check out all our shows, blog posts. I'll be posting a review for PlayStation All-Stars very soon, so stay tuned for that. But peace. See you next week.
See you later, everyone.
And we're not throwing elbows on this show. That's another show.
Yes, that is another show.
See ya.